Good afternoon, children of God. Yes, I'm on a new journey right now. I'm going home to Lynnwood, Washington, where I grew up. I have not been there in, I would safe to say, in decades. So this is just the beginning of that journey, and I'll give you more details, more scenery, hopefully even get to visit some childhood memories, places I grew up. I hope you enjoy this journey with me, so this should be good. Update number 1. These are the bridges crossing over the Columbia River that's going to eventually take us into the state of Washington here shortly. I'm trying to watch what I'm doing and go where I'm going at the same time. It's a little daunting. So welcome to the crossover from one border to the next. Interesting. Crossing over from one border to the next. I guess as we'll continue the journey, that'll give us plenty of time to discover just what God means by that. Alright, welcome to the great state of Washington. Well, good afternoon. I hope you're still with me. See the storm clouds on the horizon there, and probably hard for you to tell that to the right of me the clouds are breaking and the sun is coming through. I have to admit, this is probably one of the hardest things I've been through right now. We'll get a little more into detail about that later. I just thought it'd be kind of fun to show you around my hometown, show you some of the places that I grew up. There it is. Seattle's 133 miles. Just observing the interesting cloud formations. Yeah, I found this stretch of highway very interesting. As you can see to the right side of the road, it looks like this part of the highway was carved out of solid rock. And they've had to put netting down the side of the rock so the chunks won't break off and fall out into the street and hurt people. Oh yeah, don't forget Long Beach. Well, the last time I was at Long Beach, the thought occurred to me, isn't this like one of the longest beaches around? Like it goes up the entire coast from Washington through Oregon. Yeah, so I figured, it's probably safe to drive down the beach. People are doing it. It looks like fun. Let's go drive down the beach, and as we get a little ways down the beach, I realize I don't know how long this actually is, and I don't want to get lost. So maybe before we get too far into this journey, maybe I should turn around. And as soon as I slowed down to turn around, I sunk into the sand. Thank God a gentleman stopped by with his 4x4 pickup truck. Pulled me right out. So yeah, I thought you might enjoy that story. Alright. It's a good journey. I have a feeling God has a giant puzzle that we're assembling on this journey, and I don't really have a complete picture. I only see pieces as we're driving down the highway through the state of Washington. I have a feeling there's going to be something unique that God wants to assemble, something He wants to teach us, something He wants to speak to us at the end of this journey. And it's not the end, it's just a journey. This is just the beginning. The assembled puzzle is going to give us a bigger picture of the overall picture. I'll probably never see that overall picture until the day I meet Jesus Christ face to face. But the journey's well worth the effort. Alright. Creation Center. I'll have to remember that. That sounds like something that would be cool to check, if it's what I think it is. Interesting. Let's see what this next sign is. Oh, there's food. We got a ways to go though. We're good. I don't know, anyone in there hungry? I see a raise of hands. Hi, I can't see you in the back. Are you actually raising your hand? Are you just waving? Oh, okay. Thank you. Oh, look, there's Sequest. I thought that was a TV show. So we're going to cross over the Toutle River, this old iron bridge. I have no idea how long this bridge has been here, but it's been here as long as I can remember. You can probably tell by the looks of it, it has been around for quite a while. And honestly, there's really not a whole lot to really see. It's beautiful woods, trees. There's really not a whole lot out here. In the city of Toutle. Toutle, that sounds funny. Oh, sorry. Hey, look, we're entering Lewis County. Yeah, Lewis, like Lewis and Clark, you know, the explorers. Pretty cool, right? So there we go. Look at this. Holy Toledo, Batman. We're almost in Vader. Well, that lane ends at 400 feet, and since I only have 2 feet, I should probably get over. Thank you. Thank you. I'm here all night. All right, at least for the next 2.5 hours. So, should we go to Toledo? Isn't there a Toledo, Ohio, too? Huh. So just curious, how many cities exist that are in different states? So we got Toledo, Washington, Toledo, Ohio. How many other states are there that has a city by the name of Toledo? And look, you can skydive in Toledo. That sounds like fun. So here's what I was referring to earlier. We actually have the St. Helens Monument if we wanted to take this Winlock Toledo exit. I believe Mount St. Helens is probably another hour and a half, maybe 2 hours from here. So not horribly far. We definitely got hit heavily by ash from St. Helens when it erupted. Yes, 1980. So here'd be another great place to check out that I've actually never been to yet. Mount Rainier National Park. And the Lewis and Clark State Park. Oh, it's closed. Huh. That's sounds cool, man. So again, while you're traveling with me, well, not literally, but you know, how many places do you know about that you think would be worth traveling to? Post them in the comments. I think it'd be fun to travel around a little bit, get to see some different sights. So as I show you some of the cooler spots and attractions in the state of Washington, yeah, let me know what cool things are in your state if you are in a different state. I am constantly in a state of confusion. So the things I'm showing you now are just cool little side notes on the actual journey that we're on. And whether we visit them or not, it'd be kind of cool, but it's not really the point. We'll get to the main course of the journey, as it were. I guess that can be construed in two different ways. Alright, next on the stop, we just now are entering into the city of Chehalis, which we're still south of Olympia, which is the state capital of Washington. About 30 miles or so. So we should be there about half an hour. Alright, next on our stop is the city of Centralia. Good, yeah, kind of like all these are little port towns. They're kind of smaller, but you know, it's kind of cool. Alright, here's the next update on our journey. Aberdeen, Tenino. So I have been to Tenino before. It's been a while. Beautiful little community. Now here's something that would definitely be worth checking out: the Olympic Peninsula. So on the Olympic Peninsula is a drive-through wildlife park where they literally have bears, elk, gazelles, all kinds of wildlife. It's actually quite cool. I'll have to see if I can figure a way to post pictures from the last time. You can kind of look. I'll try. We'll see how that works. So if anyone knows how to post pictures into a video like this, please post the notes in the comments. I'd like to learn how to do that. Give you a little better view of just watching the freeway whiz by. Although we do have a rest area in 2 miles. Does that mean I need to be under arrest, or I need a rest? Now we're going to be Tumwater, which is the city just directly south of Olympia. So, the next time I snap my fingers, we will pass through Tumwater. How's that? Seamless. Alright, you saw the seam, I'm sorry. I tried. We're now in the city of Tumwater. So what for you has been 20-30 seconds in real time, for me it's been about 15-20 minutes. Wouldn't that be cool if we could travel like that? Lord, I want to be in Seattle, and you snap your fingers and he puts you in Seattle. Well, the truth is, I've heard stories and have a story of my own of what they call translated in the spirit, and that's where God literally picks you up and physically transports you from one place to another instantly. It happened in the Bible. I've had it happen to me. So, if you're ready for story time, so I used to work at Boeing. There's literally a large, at that point it was a 6-lane highway called the Boeing Highway that led to Boeing because they're such a large employer with so much traffic, they had their own highway. So it's like literally the first CD I ever bought, which tells you how long ago this story actually happened when CDs first came out. It was this first CD compact disc that I ever bought was a album by Sandi Patty. I don't remember the name of it, but I found a CD with the song that I'm going to tell you about here in a second. So it was winter, it was kind of cold out, there was snow on the ground, icy, and all I remember is driving to work listening to a song called Bethlehem Morning. I highly recommend to check it out. Beautiful, beautiful song. I just remember it started off powerfully and like a crescendo built and built. And as the power of the song built up, I remember at one point I just realized I'm no longer in my car. I can see myself driving, but I don't know, like I was floating in the air. I'm not sure. I don't really know how to explain this. I do know I was no longer, maybe physically I was, but maybe my spirit was not. That's the best way I can explain it. The next thing you know, I was at work parked, wondering what just happened. And then I remember the last thing that I saw before I was translated was I remember thinking, there's a semi-truck and I'm going to hit it. That's when I was translated in the spirit, and the next thing I know, I'm at work thinking, what just happened? Where did that truck go? Why did I not hit it? I wish I could understand more of the story myself, but I don't honestly know exactly what happened. All I do know is I believe that was God sparing me from a massive, deadly crash. That's the only way I can explain it. So now this is one of the coolest tourist spots in all of the state of Washington. If you ever get a chance to come visit, try to do it early in the day on a weekday. This is Olympia, the state capital of Washington State. And it's absolutely gorgeous. I'd have to look back to find the history of when the state of Washington was found. Early 1900s or maybe late 1800s. I'll have to check. But that's when the state capitol was built. And it's absolutely beautiful. There's a lot of marble columns. There's a lot of intricate gold work. Again, I have pictures that I took the last time I drove through and actually went into the Capitol to look around because I thought it would be cool. And generally, I don't have that opportunity. But since it was on a weekday, I did it. But even if you do come here and you don't get the chance to actually go through the Capitol there's a lot surrounding the area that's still quite beautiful. There's beautiful parks. I never knew this until the last time I was here, which was probably 8 years ago now. So I saw it looked like an old beat up greenhouse on the ground behind the Capitol, and I thought, well, gee, I wonder what that is. So I walked across the parking lot, past the Capitol, and on the back side of the property, and realized you can look straight down and there's a huge opening that leads down to a huge lake or pond. It's man-made. I never knew that was there. Just imagine the mysteries that God has in store, the things that you never knew your whole life were there until you're seeking God. And He opened your eyes, and the next thing you know, it's like, oh my goodness, look what God just did. Look what God just showed me. I never knew this even existed. So I probably spent a good hour just walking around. There's a trail that leads down in the ground. The hillside is so steep that leads from the back of the state capitol to this pond that they had to make lengthy walkways that crisscross back and forth, because I'm assuming if you were trying to just go straight down, you'd probably roll head over heels, which, I don't know, might be a lot quicker way down. And not something I want to try. Again, if anyone knows how to post pictures to a video, please tell me in the comments, because I got so many pictures of that. And again, it'd probably be way more interesting than just watching traffic go down the freeway, I would assume. But if you're going to go visit Marvin, he's got a road there in Yelm. Okay, next on the agenda, next on the schedule, a city most of you are probably familiar with already. About 20 minutes ahead is the city of Tacoma, which is just north of SeaTac. Probably one of the better known airports around is the Seattle-Tacoma Airport, which is in the city of SeaTac. I guess that's why they call it the SeaTac Airport. Alright, we're crossing the bridge into Pierce County, which is the south end of Seattle. So, that means we're getting closer. Oh man, look at that. It looks like it's illegal to give people the thumbs up. What happened to the state of Washington, man? It used to be so cool. My goodness, dude. Whatever. Huh. Here we go, another old bridge. I believe this is actually a train bridge. I don't know if the trains still use it. You can tell just by looking at it, it's fairly old. How about Stilcombe DuPont? Well, it's the same DuPont, the manufacturer DuPont. Alright. I don't know if you guys can even read these signs as we're going. So right now we're actually just passing a military base, Fort Lewis. That's just to your right. I don't know if you can see it on the right of that sign right there that I just passed, but that is the Fort Lewis military base. Yeah, pretty cool, right? There's some exits for it. I'll maybe get a little better view. You think Portland drivers are bad? Wait till you hit Seattle. Yeah, it's not funny. Yeah, it's kind of sad. Anyway, for those of you military fans, here's another military base, McChord. And we're close to the city of Puyallup. So if you're curious about the significance in Puyallup, that is where the big fair in Washington State is every year. kind of towards the end of summer. The Puyallup Fair. There's McCord Field. It's an Air Force Base, if I'm not mistaken. Again, like I said, I've never been there. Definitely do not have anything against military. As a country, we owe those men and women our lives. Look at this. Look how many restaurants are in the food exit 127. It's blank. That's not good. Okay. So if you want to go to Mount Rainier, which I believe there's a state park, and there's the state fairgrounds, which I was just referring to, Puyallup, is up next. I'm not going to go to Puyallup because that's about an hour out of my way. Come to think of it, we may have to put this video into two separate sections because it looks like I'm still only about 3/4 of the way, and right now the clips that I've accumulated is almost an hour, and we haven't even gotten to the good stuff yet. So of course, when I get through and edit some of the nonsense, I'll be cutting out. Again, so for anybody that's watching, that watches my videos, just give me an idea of what to you is a reasonable length for a video. I see people that typically will do shorts that are a minute or two long. I'll see people that typically will do videos that are 5, 10, 15 minutes long. I see people that produce videos that are well over an hour. Obviously, a lot of that depends on the actual content. But I'm just curious what you people think that are watching this. What do you think is about the best length to keep your interest in a video? Post it in the comments. So for either those of you that are into fishing and hunting, we checked this out last time we came through here as a Bass Pro Shop. I don't know if you're familiar with Bass Pro Shop, but this one is enormous. It has several very large sections of... There's one section that's just fishing, and it's huge. There's another section that's just hunting, and it's huge. There's another section that's just clothing. There's a section for handguns, rifles, ammo. There's one full section that's just boats inside. It's gigantic. They got stuffed, taxidermied bears and not tigers, but bears and wolves all over the place. There's a huge freshwater fish aquarium inside. It even has its own waterfall. That's how big this place is. So if you don't mind making a 3-hour drive, it's well worth it. The place is huge. You could easily spend hours just looking around in there. If I were to compare it to Fred Meyer's, which most of us in the Northwest are familiar with Fred Meyer's, probably one of the larger all-in-one type stores around, at least in the Northwest. I think it would not be an exaggeration to tell you each section of the Bass Pro Shop, the section that's just hunting, the section that's just fishing, the section that's just clothes, each one of those sections probably about the size of a Fred Meyer, just to give you an example. So for you those that are college fans, we're right now passing through the University of Washington. The sign right here is the exit to the University of Washington. And for those of you that are not familiar with the University of Washington, yeah, that's where the dogs play. They also have the Washington State Cougars, which is a different team. There's a couple more that I can't think of right off that you would probably recognize. But the Washington Huskies and the Washington State Cougars are the two that I can think of right now that if you're into college ball, you're probably familiar with the teams, and that's where we are. That's the part of Washington we're in right now. I don't know if you can see the sign that says the University of Washington. Okay, I think we need to get over. I don't want to end up in Bremerton, which I believe Bremerton's on the border of Canada, so let's not do that. Alright, so there's Gig Harbor. Again, I've never been there. So what's up next is our exit, 133. Not sure why it's taking me this direction, but let's just follow the GPS so that I don't get lost. That sounds like a good plan. Alright, part 2 of how many. This is another thing I noticed. Streets. How many cities have streets that are the same name? So right now I'm in Seattle and we're about ready. There's an exit for Portland Avenue. Well, there is a Portland Avenue in Portland, Oregon. And there's many, many more. If any of you have a street that you know of, like Martin Luther King Jr., I don't think Oregon or Washington are probably not the only states that have a Martin Luther King Jr. way. Yeah, post it in the comments. Ooh, there's a car museum over there. That sounds like fun. Not sure what that is. Wow. It's the old school red neon sign shaped like the Pegasus for, it was a gas company. I don't remember right off who that was. Yeah, so if anyone knows what gas company the Pegasus horse represented, like it was always on their sign. Alright, there's the city of Fife. God bless you. Sorry. For those of you that like to play, City of Fife would be a good place to visit because it's a huge outdoor water park called Wild Waves. And for the same amount that it costs to enter, you get 2 parks. You get Wild Waves, and then you get Enchanted Village, which is more like a fantasy village for children. Although the Wild Waves is a lot of fun for the kids too. It is kind of expensive, but you get 2 in 1. It's pretty cool. So it looks like Seattle's another 35 minutes still. Bellevue, nice area. So I don't know if you can see to the left, which we do not have in the state of Oregon that I know of. It's called the HOV lane. It's a commuter lane that you can only use if you got 2 or more occupants, if it's a bus or a motorcycle. So it's supposed to help kind of thin traffic out, so it gives you a little better leadway. Alright, Auburn, which is kind of more on the eastern side of Washington. I'm not sure how far Auburn is from here, but it's probably another hour, from where we are now once you get on the exit. Oh, there's your Wild Waves to your right. I don't know if you can see the sign. And you can't see Wild Waves because it's pretty dark. That's okay. And the thing is, if you get caught in the HOV lane with only one person in the car, then you will get a ticket. So I don't want to take that chance. There's no reason to do that. All this traffic. Oh, they're heading to Auburn. Yeah, I was there when I was a lot younger. And when I went there last time, there was really not a lot out in Auburn. Kent, Auburn, kind of on the eastern side. Here's Federal Way. This is South Seattle. I don't know if you want a tour of the state of Washington or not, but I'm going to give it to you. Alright, so the exit for Federal Way, which again is still south end of Seattle. Renton. I used to live in Renton, which is right next to Federal Way. I don't know. An okay area. I haven't been there in forever, so who knows what it looks like now, but you can see the street that breaks off from the freeway right to your left there. It goes way up and over. I think it's more kind of like an overpass where the traffic can get on to the freeway from the left, which is kind of unusual, but I think that's why that's there. Instead of just being able to get onto the freeway from the right side, you go up and over the opposite lane of travel, and then you can get on the left side of the freeway, which is, so I don't know if you can see that sign right there that it's kind of cool, I guess. So it's kind of a incentive to save gas by carpooling. I guess that'd be a better term that more people would probably recognize as carpooling. Again, I don't think we really have those in the state of Oregon. I haven't seen them. Beach Park Historic Waterfront. Nice. So as many of you may or may not know, part of the beauty of the state of Washington is we're right now really not that far from the Puget Sound, which I believe is a freshwater inlet. I don't think it's saltwater. I'm pretty sure it's freshwater inlet. Alright. More of the little towns in eastern Washington, Des Moines. There's your exit for Kent. I noticed a lot of the groups that I like, Christian bands, playing in Kent. Like, dude, last time I was in Kent, there's nothing there. What's going on? Well, maybe it's changed a lot in the last 20 years. At least 20 years that I've been in Oregon. I don't remember the last time I was actually in Kent. So up here you'll see to your right, or maybe you can't see that sign. That's one of the exits I would normally take off of the freeway that would take you into Renton. So technically I think we're in Renton right now, sort of. So there's South Center, which is a nice shopping mall. The exit for SeaTac Airport. We're not going to the airport, so whatever. My GPS is telling me to take the I-5 Express, which is another 12 miles ahead. Hopefully it's open. Yeah, so there's Burien, Renton right there. You can see the exits. South Center of the shopping mall to your right. I don't know if you can see it. All those lights over to your right, that's actually South Center Shopping Mall. And there's the sign for Tukwila, which is more of the area that I live in, which is right next to Renton. So now we're passing, and again, fun this trip is going to be because you can't actually see it. But to the left is Boeing Field, which is South Seattle. I'll try to get some shots of the facility that I worked at, which is actually north of here, probably a good 20 miles from where we're at. But that, I believe, by far is the largest single Boeing facility in the world. I could be wrong, but there's airport margin away. Yeah, I lived here for a while, not on the freeway. Okay, I know that. My goodness. And if you can see the sign that's kind of busted up there, welcome to Seattle. So for about a year and a half, I worked at a boat dealer that dealt in new Bayliner, and they also sold used boats. They're literally right on Lake Union. And if you're not familiar with Lake Union, it's actually right to my left, and I'm again not going to jack the camera around and cause an accident. So if you ever see that beautiful pictures of the skyline of Seattle reflecting in the water, that's probably Lake Union. Okay, we're right now passing Boeing Field. Again, there's so much traffic. There's a bunch of trees in the way. It's going to be kind of hard to see that. So CenturyLink Field, that's where, so you got the matching ballparks where one of them is the Mariners. Alright, so here it shows West Seattle Bridge, or Columbia Way. Another point of interest, maybe only to me. And then you can see there's the exit to the ferries in Seattle. So I used to take the bridge. It goes from west to east Seattle, which would go by, you would drive by Nintendo. I don't think they made them there, or maybe they made part of them there, I don't know. I just used to drive by it thinking, oh, that's where Nintendo is. It's based in Seattle. That's kind of cool. It's kind of interesting to travel a bridge that literally goes across the water. I mean, right on the water. I don't know if it's still there. This you might actually be able to see. And it would provide to be one of the more interesting points of interest on our journey, if you can see it. Oh goodness, looks like a semi-truck broke down right in the middle of the freeway. That's unfortunate. Pray for those people, dear God. Pray that no accidents, that they would be able to get their problem resolved quickly, Lord, and get back on the road to whatever they need to be doing. So right now we're just now going through, well, sort of. Oh my, going through downtown Seattle. And this is typical for... Maybe I'll just post this part of the video to remind me of the next time I'm in Portland, complaining how bad Portland traffic is. Yeah, this is much worse. Although it's my understanding, my childhood friend that I grew up with, that I have not seen since I was about 19, became a police officer in Seattle. Wouldn't that be kind of interesting if for some reason he ended up pulling me over and recognized me? I may still get a ticket if I was doing something stupid, but it would be good to see them. Alright, so we're about ready to embark on some serious fun, folks. I don't know if you've ever taken an expressway, but we're going to take this expressway. It's kind of unique. Although once we get on the expressway, you're really not going to be able to see much, because it's a bridge that's several layers high, like 2 or 3 lanes high and several lanes wide. So we're actually traveling through almost like a tunnel. And yeah, I really won't be able to see much once we get into the expressway. But thought maybe you'd like to see it if you've never been on an expressway before. Oh shoot. I think there's been another wreck. I see. That was actually a police car. I think it was an incident vehicle. Maybe there was somebody broke down or had an accident. So again, to keep this video down below 47 hours, I might have to cut back here and just give you snippets. Plus, I think my phone battery is dying since it's been recording literally for about 3 hours now. It's very possible my phone may die. That's not good. We don't want that to happen. Alright, let me stop. Well, good evening, people. As you can tell, I made it to Lynnwood, Washington, and found my hotel. It's not too bad. A little expensive, but I even have a fridge, stove, pretty much everything I might possibly need. It's not too bad. So, unfortunately, at the point where we were getting ready to enter the express lane and show you what that looks like, the battery on my phone died completely. And I guess I should have had it charging, but I thought it would last more than 3.5 hours. Now I know better. So we'll probably get a better video of that tomorrow when it's actually light out and you can see, I hope, as well as we're going to tour down in Edmonds, which is absolutely gorgeous. So everybody have a good evening, and we'll pick this video up tomorrow.